So the real source of our challenges and stresses and problems, as we all probably know, but we forget, is the stories that we tell ourselves. So our stories can be very vivid, very detailed, almost, or they seem to be evidence-based a lot of the time, and I think that's the trick, that they seem to be evidence-based, so we get very hooked into the content of our stories. So we make stories about what's going on currently and what may happen in the future and what's already happened in the past. And due to the negativity bias of our brain, the nature of those stories unfortunately tends to be negative, right? So that's why we want to think about coming out of those stories. So what causes us the most pain in life is not what is, although again, as I said, the stories about what is can be very convincing. But it's actually the stories about what is, it's the narrative about what is that is actually the source of the drama, of the struggle. So what can we do about that? Do we need to get a lobotomy? Should we stop thinking? Do we need to spend all day meditating or spend all of our time drunk? Maybe we've tried a few of those things. But no, we don't need to stop thinking. There's a quote from a book called Fearless Simplicity. It's quite a good book. And there's a quote in it that says, "Thoughts have the right to arise," something like this anyway. Thoughts have the right to arise, and we have the right to not cling to them. So we can't get rid of thoughts, and I think often when we start meditating, there's a misconception around, like, that the thoughts shouldn't be there, that we've got to magic them away somehow, and if we are thinking them, we are failing. But yeah, it's pretty impossible to get rid of our thoughts. That's just what our brain does. It generates thoughts, and if you try and get rid of them, that's going to be a battle that you're not going to win. So we don't want to get rid of them. We want to let go of our attachment to them. So refusing to feed our thoughts by adding another thought on top of that. So observing the thought and letting it be what it is, without adding on more information. So why do we want to be mindful of those thoughts? Well, adding one extra thought will lead to a cascade of thoughts if we're not aware. So this happens all day long. Having one thought, adding another thought on top of it, and another one, and before we know it, we're in a state of dissatisfaction with life, or maybe even hopelessness. So, a little example for you. So, imagining that you've gone to a party and maybe you're a little bit nervous, a bit of an anxious type. You come back from the party, maybe someone made a little comment about what you were wearing and that wasn't complimentary. And so you come home and you have a thought like, I can't believe she said that about my appearance, about my dress, in front of everyone. And then you might have another thought on top of that, like, maybe I have no sense of style. And then you don't stop there. What if everyone at the party, all those people that I spoke to, those new people that I met, what if they thought the exact same thing as this person, that my dress is outdated and I don't have any style? And then maybe you layer over it with a bit of self-judgment. So, why on earth did I wear this dress? I should have known better. I always seem to screw up. And maybe another thought, I bet she was trying to humiliate me in front of people. Maybe I'm just a target for people to make fun of. And then maybe another thought on top of that is, I should just avoid going out. I should just avoid social situations altogether. I always end up coming home feeling more isolated than before, or judged in some way. So it's very easy for one thought to turn into another, to turn into another, to turn into another, and before you know it, you've painted this whole picture, this like movie about you or about life that feels very concrete, feels like very convincing. So it would be easy to just believe that, like, yeah, maybe I should just stay at home and never go out again. So I kind of view these thoughts that we want to start being more aware of and letting go without adding more on top of them as like the one cigarette thing. So I used to smoke, and whenever I obviously, like most smokers, I've tried to quit several times, and the thing that always kind of got me back into smoking was this idea, like, it's just one cigarette, I'll just have one, yeah, fine, I'm out, whatever, it's just one. And I realised that, after quite a long time, it took me a while to realise, but I realised that one cigarette isn't actually one cigarette. One cigarette is, especially if we're imagining that, I've been going, let's say, a week without smoking. So one cigarette isn't one cigarette. One cigarette is the doorway to 10 more, 100 more, or however many. And once I realised that, I was able to stop and just completely stop, and that was it, never again. So I haven't smoked for, I think it's been 4 years now, because I cottoned on that one is never one. One leads to 10 or 100, or and if would I make the decision in that moment to have one? Would I smoke in that moment of craving if I said to myself, oh, this is only 100, oh, I'm just going to smoke, I've not smoked for a week, I'm just going to smoke 10 cigarettes now, one after the other? I wouldn't, would I? So it was that realisation, one is never one. So I see that the same situation with our thoughts, that they can seem quite benign. If it's just one little slightly negative thought, what the hell, let me just add another one on top of it. But when you realise like where that one thought could eventually lead you to, so engaging in that storyline where it could lead you to, you realise, like, actually it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. So we want to observe the thoughts, especially if they're negative in nature. So letting it go, letting it be there, so not stopping it, letting it arise, but kind of letting it be without adding more on top. So observing it like a cloud passing in the sky. And recognising that I am not the thought, I am the sky. So So I'm not going to go chasing that cloud. I'm just going to watch it, and I remain the same.